really summed up I wouldn't even call it the issue, but the situation really, really well. And it's that, it's a metaphor. It's that trainers are like chefs. We all have the same ingredients, but we all make our own recipes and we all have our own flavors. Mm-hmm. And people come to us because of the flavors that we make. And sometimes people like to taste different flavors. And that's totally fine. They like to bounce around different restaurants. And I thought that was such a good, because it makes total sense. We all, I mean, look, how many different ways does our body move? Like, and not that many, right? But every single trainer, and this is what has been fascinating to me throughout this whole process of building up the software, is that every single trainer does it differently. Literally every single trainer that I've spoken to does it differently.
This is the Online Trainer Show, Trainer Show, Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show. We shouldn't have a podcast. My body hurts, Jonathan.
I just got mask shamed on my own podcast.
You really did. You really did.
You're looking swole, though.
To keep people safe. Thank you, Carolina. And yes, my body does hurt because I'm working out a lot. I'm pumping iron. That's what I wanted to bring up in this podcast. That's what I wanted people to know. And now I can go
Right. There you go.
I never want people to know anything. But I will tell. I will tell you
nothing about you. I was reflecting on this the other day.
Yeah.
We know nothing about you.
Nothing at all. Don't know what my living arrangement is. What's under my hat. Whether I wear pants or shorts. Just nothing. You people have no clue. You don't get me at all here. And it's a source of consternation for me. I was about to say, but I did a leg workout before the podcast, and it was stupid. I was sharing how dumb it was with Amber and Catalina, and I retract what I said on the last podcast about not wanting to be shaped like Mighty Mouse. I don't care. I don't.
Why would you train legs?
I don't need legs. They got cars for that. We've got an elevator.
Exactly.
We got an elevator here in the building. So I don't have to walk steps.
And they have pants that go down to your ankles for that.
They go all the way down to your ankles.
This is
I've been Googling swimming pants for my vacation. give me a nice pair of swim pants, and I'll be good to go. That's all I need. Mommy, look at the unbalanced man. Shut up, kid. So we've got a spectacular show lined up for you today. This is why I don't have kids. We've got I don't use kid-appropriate interactions. We've got a spectacular podcast for you today. Jonathan has said that we're going to share all of our favorite recipes here. I've got a peach cobbler that's going to knock your socks off. Get your mouth ready, as we say in the South. Get your mouth fixed up for some delicious peach cobbler, because it's coming. The way that I do like a lattice. Are you familiar with the term lattice? Lattice. A lattice dough crust on the top. It's got the straight lines. It's got the horizontal lines of dough and the vertical lines. That's a lattice.
Like a pie.
Yeah, like on the top of the pie crust. It's more of a cobbler, kiddo.
Right.
What is the difference between a pie and a cobbler? Can anybody?
I have no idea.
I've never known this.
Idea.
Jonathan, as you go down the dark rabbit hole of the interwebs, can you just research really quick for us what the differentiation is between a pie and a cobbler? Come back when you found this out, and let the listeners know something that I all the time. In the then I've experienced pie. I'm just going to say that. Keto, are you more of a pie person or a cobbler person, or neither? Are you more of a cake person? Is that where you?
I don't like cake,
don't like cake?
very much at all. No. So I would say pie, and it has to be apple crumble pie. Like, that's my favorite. Second close is strawberry rhubarb.
Okay. All right.
Pie really comes down to the crust or lack thereof. A pie, whether sweet or savory, always has a bottom crust, while a cobbler doesn't. A cobbler is a baked fruit dessert without a bottom crust, and the top crust is a kind of biscuit dough. Biscuit is a kind of biscuit dough instead of a traditional pastry or pie dough.
I think that's pastry.
Interesting.
No, I'm fairly certain it's pastry.
Pastry.
Let
him explain to
milk.
You.
Yeah,
He's gonna,
Fairly
pastry.
certain that you can either eat a biscuit or a pastry.
All right, that sounds overtly Canadian to me, Jonathan. But whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do here, Kiddo, how are you feeling today? I listened to an episode of the podcast, not the one without me, of course, because I don't want to hear that. But I listened to the episode after, skipped right over that trash, and landed on the next podcast after that. And I was once again enthralled with your descriptive abilities, Kiddo, on that podcast. I actually did listen to the one without Ren, and you all were very, very nice and complimentary of what I do here in the podcast. And of course, I heard the jokes that I missed last time. Too late now. Too bad. So sad. But I thought the podcast went quite well. So well, in fact, that I'm even more eager for my vacation at the end of June now than I was before. You've obviously got this. I'm probably going to record a series of phrases that Amber can play as I'm absent from the podcast, and hopefully you'll play them at the most incorrect moment. So give her full control over that. I'll send some phrases over to you, some wave files, Amber, some MP3s that you can play.
Most WAV files.
Yeah, some WAVs to go with my pastries. Do you call them waffles, Jonathan, and not waffles? Does your mispronunciation of the A verb of the A goes that far? Are you that far with your vowels? You mispronounce all of them? All right, good talk, Jonathan.
I mean, I'm not mispronouncing anything. I think there's a miscommunication here. You're using a lot of big words today. You are correcting my pronunciation today. And you know what? I feel like you're belittling me. And, it's insulting. It's disrespectful.
Oh man!
And I am going to go to my home and have a lay down. I think
you're gonna rage nap.
I do that sometimes. I rage cry too. It's the worst when you're so angry and then tears come out, and it's the worst because people are like, "Oh, are your feelings hurt?" No, I want to murder you.
Whoa! A rage. Catalina has admitted she's a rage crier and a rage napper.
Yes.
So before you dive into that pint, Keto, that pint of Belgian ale that you materialized out of thin air.
It's Coke Zero, but I wish it was a Belgian ale. I wish.
Oh my God!
I wish. That sounds really nice.
Your deep brown lager. So what's going on with you besides the large glass of alcohol that you're drinking as we record this podcast?
Oh, there's not enough alcohol in the world for this. So everything has been good. Okay. So
Very
remember
good.
last week that we were talking about that I was going to start trying some new things on Instagram.
Yes.
And I'm testing some new things, and I switched like from a business profile to a creator profile because that gives you access to different, like especially with reels, like you have access to different music and stuff. So now I'm playing, like I'm really studying like how to do different things, and I'm deploying them, and it's so freaking fun. And I'm pumping out content constantly because now there's an excitement over seeing what kind of like works better, what gets better reactions and all this kind of stuff. So then it almost feels like I'm back to game mode, but in a way that is, implicitly kind of like beneficial to my business as well, because I know that I'm going to be launching a program at the end of the month, beginning of July.
Right.
And so it's a great time for me to be playing around because I'm consistently in people's feeds right now, and that feels really awesome. I feel like I'm creating some good
is your goal to basically just be more present in anticipation of your launch? Is there more to it than that? Like, can you share tactically kind of what you're doing in anticipation of this?
Yeah, so it's a little bit like twofold. So one part is I'm really interested to see really what type of content is really what resonates with my target market. So once you have, so when you have a business or a creator account, you're able to see insights and, you know, a post, if it got saved, if it was shared, if it was reposted, if it was how many comments, like all the statistics are there. So that's really fun to see. Like, for example, and this is the funniest thing, and it goes to confirm everything we talk about here every week. So one day I was just like, oh, you know, this is so stupid, but I'm going to post it anyway because I'm out of other ideas right now. So I'm like, hey guys, if you don't do this already, like if you buy your meat in bulk, separate it into 1 pound bags and then flatten it, because once frozen, you're able to stand it up like library books and stack it, and it just saves you so much space. The amount of comments and shares and saves that post got, like this thing that I was so close to not sharing because it was dumb, and I assumed that everybody already knows this and already does this. And again, like I was laughing to myself because like we can never take for granted that people know the things that we assume people know. It's never the case. Like no matter how silly your thing is, share it anyway because somebody will benefit.
Hashtag life hack, right?
Exactly, like life hack, right? And I use all that like meal prepping, and so that really kind of like kicked engagement as well.
It's true. I mean, it's a legit problem. Like as Calvin starts to eat like a human being and not just a useless blob, it's a real problem now. That our fridge, like, and our freezer is too full.
Stacked
full. So that's a useful life hack.
So I'm glad that I shared it because then that taught me something and that reminded me of the importance of not making assumptions. You cannot make assumptions. So I have that. So in terms of engagement, there's that. And now the other, like what piggyback rides on top of that is that because I'm going to be planning a launch for probably the beginning of July. And so just being present in people's feeds with little tips and tricks like this that are helpful to them, then I'm consistently in their mind. So the moment that I'm ready to start taking them down the path of, I'm going to start doing what we were talking about last week of like, hey guys, help me out on my stories. There's a poll. Like, would you rather this? Would you rather this? Do you prefer this or this? Like getting them involved in the process of creating this program. And again, seeing how engagement transpires with those kind of polls and questions and Q&As and all this kind of stuff. So I'm pretty excited. It's going well. I'm having a lot of fun.
I'm really doing the same thing at the same time, Keto. And I feel a little bit like I don't know. I sort of feel like Beyonce and hear me out here. Possibly Beyonce and maybe J-Lo are releasing albums and movies at the same time. I don't know if this is good for the labels. Like, I don't know that they don't cancel each other out. Like, I feel very threatened by your plans here. I want to say that on the podcast. I feel threatened by what you're doing. I don't own any pastel dresses, nor do I have any dresses with flowers. And I don't have a tripod either. So
there clearly aren't enough women in the world.
Not enough, Jonathan.
Not enough
programs. So
right. We're gonna have to
competition for the finite small amount of
scarcity
women
right away.
Yes, it's definitely scarcity.
It's like celebrity death match on the internet between Ren and I right now.
10 to 15 potential clients out there tops. And I feel like Keto's pastel colored dresses knock out like 7 of the 15 automatically, and I don't have that advantage. So I'm just gonna hate on you.
Those pastel dresses are really gonna hurt you in the scarcity.
Stop it, Jonathan. just stop it. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to get in the way here. Like I'm gonna. You expect to see more rabbit faces on the lawn because as they say in The Godfather, we're going to the mattresses, and that's not an innuendo term. That means it's war. That's a war term for mafiosos. We're we're gonna have to take this to the mattresses. That's what that means. So that's trouble for you.
Wow.
You know, you keep your head on the swivel, young lady.
Thank you. I will.
The South is involved now. So I'm looking for your Instagram, Keto, and I see an Instagram, but I don't follow it. And is that the new Instagram? Because I'm concerned about why I'm not following it. Because I've seen these pictures. Now, has someone copied your Instagram?
What are you talking about?
Does your Instagram?
And I found it in 2 seconds.
Does your Instagram have a W on the end of it, or is it GLO? Okay, all right. For some reason, I don't follow it. Maybe I'm on my wrong page, but because I have 2 Instagrams.
Okay.
Because I have 2 Instagrams, I was on the wrong one. Okay, now I see it. Okay. All right. Okay. I just need to know which. I need to know which Instagram handle to send to Instagram and report it as a fake account, so I can obviously sabotage your enrollment. I'm getting those 7 of the 15 women back that you've already claimed.
You're gonna hack me, jerk.
Absolutely. I'm not above that. I'm not above that. And I'll pretend like somebody else did. Oh my gosh, Keto, looks like you got hacked.
What's happening? No.
What is happening? Oh no. Oh my goodness. This is terrible. Jonathan, you've got stuff to say today. You said we were going to talk about making recipes for fitness or something. I don't get it. I'm really not that interested. But as long as I show up, as Marshawn Lynch said, I'm just here so I don't get fined. So, have at it. So, Amber, are you wearing the Casio today? Oh no, that's the Apple one. You got to track your stuff. Yeah, okay.
You got to send that back, Amber.
Yeah,
send that back. You're not going to wear it. Send it back.
It's fundamental misuse of the Casio product.
I got on my silver one too. Look at
this. Nice. It's not a shelf watch.
My shorts are gray.
I'm concerned that your leg reaches that high.
No.
I'm still not seeing
flexible enough to do that yet.
Yeah, as Jonathan tries his best to show us his crotch on this podcast, we're gonna move on to I've not had a man fight that hard to show me his crotch ever in life, Jonathan, and I say that as a fully heterosexual male. Yeah.
Like I said, there's not enough alcohol in the world to help me through this.
You clearly have not been to the Philippines.
Right.
And, you and I can go there once. I can take you to the beach where the woman put my hand on her penis.
I don't know what Keto's saying. She chimed out.
I don't know either.
Keto literally blew.
Sorry.
You hit your own mute button?
I did. No, I was saying because Philippines, that reminded me, we have new rankings in new countries, right?
Oh, that's right. We do have some.
You were paying attention to Slack.
That's amazing.
We couldn't tell because
like the 30 seconds before
we didn't know that you were. We didn't know that you were paying attention to that because
that's amazing.
There was a whole bunch of talk about topics, of course, and
I wasn't
Glenn
involved.
and Amber and I were discussing it, but we didn't see your name anywhere, so we didn't know whether you were there. Oh, that's good to know that you were paying attention to it.
I trust you to figure it out. I believe in you.
So Amber, what are the new rankings? We had some, reach around for those rankings and find them. And that probably wasn't appropriately worded, but find those rankings and share them with us. Disregard the first part of my previous sentence. And let us know when you found them. So, what was that about? I was about to say something amazing. Oh, yeah.
The topic.
Yeah. So the topic is recipes that your clients will enjoy. Not including cobbler and or pie, and pastries or.
Okay, so
go ahead,
topic,
Jonathan.
I'll tell you how this topic came about.
First
of all, I'm excited because we're going to be talking about something a little bit different than business today, which is cool because there's a lot of aspects of what we do, and I find that on our podcast we just always kind of default to business, and and so we're talking about programming today, which is obviously very, very important. And there seems to be this problem, the struggle amongst a lot of trainers, online trainers, in-person trainers, where they're not confident in their programming. They feel like they need to learn more with programming, and programming is such a mastery profession that this kind of makes sense. But we've been doing a tremendous amount of research into workout delivery and building for our software product. Mm-hmm. And there was a line that Nick Tuminello said to me. If you don't know Nick, check him out. He's good stuff. There was a line that Nick Tuminello said to me earlier on the phone that I thought was really summed up the, I wouldn't even call it the issue, but the situation really, really well. And it's that, it's a metaphor. It's that trainers are like chefs. We all have the same ingredients, but we all make our own recipes and we all have our own flavors. Mm-hmm. And people come to us because of the flavors that we make. And sometimes people like to taste different flavors. And that's totally fine. They like to bounce around different restaurants. And I thought that that was such a good, because it makes total sense. We all, I mean, look, how many different ways does our body move? Like, not that many, right? But every single trainer, and this is what has been fascinating to me throughout this whole process of building up the software, is that every single trainer does it differently. Literally every single trainer that I've spoken to does it differently. Right. There's some commonality amongst what's called use cases, basically. The why they do what they do, or the stuff that they find is really important that they put emphasis on, but even how they tactically perform their use cases is differently. And every single trainer is different. So from a software development standpoint, this is why the software platforms are so frustrating to use. Mm-hmm. It's not because they're not thoughtful in their approach. The problem is there's an almost infinite amount of different things that they can do from a software development standpoint, where you've got to develop things in ones and zeros and X's and O's. You can't possibly build a good user interface when there's an unlimited amount of things that people can do. And do. For example, let's say you're doing an exercise where you want to do like a rear delt cable crossover. Mm-hmm. What do you call that? Different people call that different things. Different people refer to that different ways. So even if that exercise exists in an exercise database with the video, with the description, you have to think about what the software platform calls that thing to be able to pull it up and find the version that they refer to when you pull it up. That's why it's so frustrating to use these things, right? It's not that they don't exist. It's probably in there somewhere, but it's needle in a haystack. And so, I mean, what we've done is we've completely reinvented the solution. So that's not a problem anymore to make it really, really easy, but that's for a different day. But what I want to talk about here is the importance of understanding that metaphor of look at yourself as a chef and understand that people are going to come to you for your flavor of programming. Thrive on that. And always try to get better. Learn programming from as many people as possible, not because they do it better than you. I mean, objectively, there might be a better way or a worse way, but not because they do it better from you, but because you want to continually just add ingredients. You want to add flavors to add to yours to make yours more rich and robust. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. I just thought it was such a neat metaphor, and I hope that it kind of puts a lot of our listeners almost at ease that might be a little bit concerned about their programming, or they see how other people do things and think they might be missing something, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I get a lot of programming questions as a mentor in the academy. People get freaked out about programming. It's probably the first step in the what's the thing that we talk about where imposter syndrome. Like the first step towards imposter syndrome from the coaches that I've talked to is the programming. I just don't feel like I know it. I don't feel like I know enough to write a good program. What do you put in your programs? What's the right? How should I write the workout? How long should it, like anything that you can ask about a program? I've been asked about it in the mentor space as an online trainer academy mentor. Because I think fundamentally, and I'll give you the answer that I normally give them, but I think fundamentally people think that they're going to do it wrong somehow, like there's a wrong way. To your credit, there's a lot of different recipes, but there's not a lot of wrong recipes necessarily. So what I typically tell them is, hey, look, you're working with a person who's probably not moving very much, typically. Right. And if you're working with athletes, you're probably not having this conversation. You know your stuff. You've apprenticed under somebody, but fundamentally they haven't moved that much. If you got them to stand up and sit down, if you got them to push against something or push something away, or pull something towards and bend at the hip, you've got a great program for somebody who's probably sedentary. You solved 90% of their movement problems. So don't overthink it. If you get them up off of the couch at all and have them walk their living room for the commercial break, you've probably intervened in a way where you're drastically going to change the course of their health over time if they stick to it. So that's what I normally say. However, I'm interested to hear about these recipes, the culinary, the 4 Michelin star chef that is Jonathan Goodman. And we I get some snacky snacks. And this whole thing's making me hungry because I haven't eaten after the stupid leg day that I did. I rushed into this debacle of a show once again.
What did you do for your leg day? What was your workout today?
I did some squatting. I did some squats.
Squatting.
I did some squatting. I also did some. I did some hamstring ball curls. Put my feet on the ball and I curled, and my hamstrings curled.
Did you get your butt way up in the air there, man?
Oh, my hips were so high because my hips don't lie, Jonathan. Shakira. So I also did some deadlifting. I lifted the dead, and because I was thinking of you, Jonathan, and only of you, I did some calf raises. I did some calf things.
That's what really matters.
And of course, that started off with some. I did some cycling to warm up, and I did some body weight lunges across the room to get the hip flexors and the knees involved, and just get a great overall warm. And I'm feeling it, brother. You know, I'm toned up. I'm ripped. I'm ripped up, brother. Threw my legs to the gods. Sacrificed them, huh?
I get the inner thigh. I get the inner thigh crushes.
Amber says she doesn't want to hear about our legs.
Well, I think actually this could be like a good piece of it, Amber. So I'm
segue.
Gonna, usurp you and veto you here. That's funny.
That's funny. But it's also very fair.
Amber doesn't usually tell jokes. That was
but it is fair because you never know. Like sometimes you're not quite sure that we're going somewhere with what we're saying. So I totally get that.
Here's my plan. I do have somewhere to go with this to provide some value.
Take it away. Okay. Value. Take it away, Jonathan.
I think it would be interesting if all of us speak about our individual workouts right now.
Let's do that.
Because that will showcase that will I think it's interesting for trainers to hear about what other trainers do when they train.
Yeah.
And different types of training, but also just to show how much variation there is. Because my workouts are clearly the best and hardest out of everybody, and like that's not doesn't say anything.
Here we go.
Doesn't say anything
trash
negative about anybody else. It's just
negative,
a matter of
Jonathan.
preference. I like to do difficult workouts, right? Other people like to go for walks in the park and pick sunflowers, and so
Keto stands on her coffee table. That's what that's her idea of a good time.
Yeah, she does. So I'll go first.
Oh my God.
I'll go first because I'm talking. So I'm training right now 6 days a week in the mornings, and I'm working out in my garage, and I don't really have a lot of heavy weights and stuff. So the heaviest dumbbell I can make is like 60 pounds. So the group that I work at, I'm in the online trainer coaching, which is our fitness coaching service, and so they've altered stuff for me basically to be at home. So my split is I have 3 different workouts. I've got chest, back, legs, shoulders, arms, abs. And every single day there's 6 exercises, and basically there's the first 2 exercises supersetted with one another. So this morning, for example, it was this morning was the arms workout. So it was seated dumbbell bicep curls, supersetted with basically like a type of, what's it called, like the Bruce Lee leg raises.
Oh, like a flag?
Yeah, like it's like the variation
like a lever?
Before then.
Like
yeah,
a
it's
lever?
like the variation before that. Supersetted with that, 10 to 12 reps, and 60-second break between 4 sets. Then we go to another superset, which is 12 to 15 reps with 45 seconds in between for 4 sets. And then the final one is 15 to 20 reps with 30 seconds between. So it goes, and if I had heavier weights, it would be 6 to 8 reps, 8 to 10, 10 to 12. But because I have lighter weights, they've had to increase the rep ranges and give me more difficult variations. But yeah, that's how my training is. And then there's some optional cardio at the end, or like I played tennis with a buddy last night. You know, like there's that kind of stuff.
And what's the overall goal? I think it's important that people to understand that. What's the goal of that type of I want to get sexy. Oh my gosh. We'll just sing some Prince songs. That's Jonathan's goal. Just want your extra time and your kiss. Good job, Jonathan. Way to go.
The overall goal, I mean, it's hypertrophy for sure, but it's not a strict hypertrophy. It's kind of a muscular endurance hybrid with hypertrophy. Strict hypertrophy, you'd be probably a little bit lower reps than what I'm doing. We just didn't have the option for that.
Okay. Purple rain, purple rain. So Trap Queen, what's your what do you got? I've seen you exercising. You know, you had the over the shoulder shot of one side of your upper back on the internet, and obviously you were on the coffee table at one point, and you were doing something with your legs, or shoulder presses. You're doing repping the 25s on each side with the shoulder presses. See, I see your content, kiddo.
You pay attention.
I'm paying attention. I just don't leave arbitrary remarks like somebody on this podcast whose name rhymes with Hoodman. I actually care. He doesn't care. He just wants to agitate you. So kiddo, so what's your programming like? And first, state your goal, if there is a goal.
Yeah, so I am loving my program. I actually enrolled myself in another coach's program because coaches have coaches.
That's what they do.
I am you probably heard of Jill Coleman. She's fantastic, Jill Fit. And I love her because she's my age. So she's turning 40 next month. I'm turning 39. But her current program, which is called 40 Days to 40. So it's like 40 days, and it's basically what really struck me about this one. I'm taking it all in to use it as well with my clients, because again, my clients and myself are very similar as a target audience. And so whatever it is that works for me is probably going to work for them in terms of motivating you to enroll into a program. And what I really liked about this, what really called to me, is that this is oh gosh, I forgot. I can't English today. When you show up every day, when you do the thing, consistency. Thank you. It's a consistency challenge.
Say it in Spanish, and I'll obviously translate for you.
It's a consistency challenge. So it's not about anything else but showing up consistently for 40 days. And I'm like, that is what I need, because more than a specific weight goal or a specific strength goal, right now I'm lacking continuity. And so I need that consistency. And there's prizes at the end. I am that person 100% motivated by prizes. You show me a medal, a shiny thing that I can win at the end, and I will kill who I have to kill to get to that. Forgive me, I look like, what? Like, I said what I said, okay?
Yeah. We all wish you were joking. Please continue. So what's what's the actual without divulging too much of Jill's programming, like what kind of things are you doing? What's the exercise recipe here?
Yeah, so it consists of a portion of purely strength training, like heavy stuff, as heavy as you can do. It's usually 1 or 2 movements, like a superset, and then metabolic training. So we do AMRAP, we do it's more like fast. There's burpees, like there's more conditioning as well as strength, but lower weights. And I'm finding it super fun, super challenging, because I'm terrible at cardio. I freaking hate doing cardio. So the first time we had to do burpees, I'm telling you, I thought I was going to throw up just because I haven't done them in so long. But now, second week out, and now I'm busting them out so much easier. And I'm like, this is what I'm here for, to feel myself just slowly get better, right? Like we forget that ourselves as trainers, once you stop practicing a certain thing, if you ever go back into doing that thing that you used to be great at years ago, you might struggle just because you haven't done it for so long. So reconnecting myself with those feelings of being a newbie, being under somebody else's care, having to follow somebody else's rules, it's proving so valuable in terms of how I'm going to address that with my own clients in the future.
I love it. I love it. That sounds awesome.
Entirely different goals, entirely different approaches. That is appealing for two entirely different reasons.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Which is cool to see. All right, who's up next? Ronald?
Yeah, I'll go. So what I've been doing is a sort of a repetitive split. So on Monday and usually Tuesday and Thursday and Friday, I skipped Tuesday. That's how I ended up doing another. But in any case, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday and Friday, I'm splitting between legs and specifically back and shoulders. Just to play around with it, just to grow those body parts. It's hypertrophy for me. So, I'm doing my squatting and my hamstring curling and my deadlifting and my calf raises on Monday because I hate legs, so I start the week there. Tuesday, I'm really just working the entire back, really just a lats for width, hopefully. Maybe it'll make my waist look a bit smaller, creating the illusion. And yes. I look like a
little bit
superhero.
of shoulder to hip ratio.
A little bit of lat time in my back. A little bit of shoulder work. That's how I stack. A little bit of leg days on the other days. I can't even think of another rhyming phrase. So that's what I've been doing. And so I do Monday and Tuesday, and then I do Thursday and Friday. I go into a workout maze. So I'm attempting to stimulate those muscle parts through a little bit more volume. That's why I'm doubling them twice, but giving myself a nice rest break in betwixt those exercise routines. And that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm just doing that for the next for the next 2 weeks. It'll be 6 weeks after that. I don't like to repeat after 6 weeks. You can run into repetitive stress issues. But that's another different program. And walking, actually, like a part of my program is to get up out of this stupid seat that I sit in for 12 to 16 hours. Because God knows my non-exercise activity has gone to poop since COVID happened. Working longer, but just not getting up out of the seat, man. I kept exercising, but I just didn't get out of my stupid chair. So that's been important for me. So that's my recipe for deliciousness, for body deliciousness. Amber, you're obviously working delts every single day of the week, 6-7 days a week straight.
We don't even know. We don't even need to know about Amber. We just
we know exactly what she's doing. Wakes up, lat raise. Go to bed, lat raise while asleep. Front lat raises while holding her son. We've seen it all, Amber. You've done it all. Put those things away. Jonathan, do we need to talk to Amber at all about this, or are we just going to leave her out of this totally? Just going to skip over her? Yeah, let's skip over.
I would love to hear from Andrea.
You mean from the other female?
Yeah, the other. She disappeared. She opted out of the entire podcast. She's gone. So Jonathan, what are you guys learning in terms of these recipes? Like, what's been striking to you in terms of the various recipes, that you've encountered as you're building out this fantabulous, this fantabulous programming tool that you're about to unleash on the world and, create world domination for the personal trainer development.
It's going to be a Kraken. We're going to unleash the Kraken.
The training Kraken.
Jonathan Goodman is Poseidon, ruler of the seas of fitness, and he is going to unleash the Kraken A Titan versus a Titan. I love Greek mythology. Don't get me started.
That is why he says "Jingle Me Timbers." There you go.
Right, exactly right.
It all comes together, full circle.
Fitness Poseidon. That's why his calves are so big, because they hide the gills that are hidden inside of his leg muscles, so he can breathe and navigate the depths of the oceans. So Jonathan, what's no pun intended, what's cracking with the information that you've been getting about programming? What's cracking?
The biggest, I mean, there's been a lot of really interesting insights, but the biggest thing is just how different everybody does everything.
Right.
We've done easily over 100 phone calls at this point, and
wow.
There has not been one single crossover in how people do
really. Out of 100, that's a lot.
Which shows me, A, everybody's got their own flavors, and B, there's no tool that actually makes this easy. Like, everybody's kind of like hacked together their own kind of mesh of stuff and made it work for them in a lot of ways. And in some cases, they're making it work really, really well. In a lot of cases, it's just kind of like, okay, well, this is like, I guess good enough, but they're not particularly happy with it. And so, but from a training program standpoint, God, just the variation is wild. I mean, the variation in terms of some people plan, for 12 weeks in advance. Some people do it day of. Some people have a general template for everybody and individualize. Some people build a new workout every single day. Some people have one workout that basically just evolves until the end of time. So they'll talk to their client. They do their intake with their client, whatever it is. This is both online and in person, by the way. They'll do their intake with their client, and they'll build one program for them, and then they'll just basically adapt that constantly and just never build another brand new program from scratch. It'll just be constantly flowing and adapting. Other people have a formula, like Nick Tumnellerhorn mentioned. I mean, I actually really like his formula for training, and he teaches this as well. So if you want to learn more about it, you can go to Nick's website and stuff like that and learn from him. But all of his programs, basically, he's built 36 different workouts, and he has a few different programs that have a few different workouts in each that basically equals to 36, and all of his clients get one of those at any one point in time, depending on what their goals are. But what happens is every program has 9 exercises, and the 9 exercises are 3 trisets. And so like it's an A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, C3. The first exercise in each triset is constant, meaning that that one exercise will be repeated. So if a client has, is doing 3 different workouts, basically they'll repeat the same first exercise in workout 1 every time workout 1 rolls around, if that makes sense. The second and third exercise in each triset changes every workout. And that might be depending on what the client needs, right? If it's a client who doesn't really need anything, it might be, more strength training. If it's a client who needs rehab or post-rehab or more mobility or whatever it is, there might be that kind of stuff worked in there. But the point is it changes every workout. So this way Nick gets what you need as a trainer, which is progressive overload, on that one major exercise at the beginning of each triset. Right, there's some consistency, but the client also gets a lot of variation every single day. So I kind of like that formula. So I mean, it's all different. Generally, one overlap that I thought was interesting, that makes a lot of sense, that I think people might be able to gain from here, is that generally in-person training, there's a lot less planning, and people go in with a plan, but adapt on the fly. It's kind of like, I've got your program prepared for the day, but like, how you feeling? And they'll adapt on the fly in person. Whereas online, obviously, you can't adapt on the fly, so people will program more in advance. That's the major, like people that are primarily in-person trainers who have been doing it for like a decade plus have all but given up building long, blocked out programs. They just It's not that they don't know how to do it. They just know it doesn't work best because there's just too many things that change. And so they'll often have a plan, and they'll have like one exercise that they're kind of monitoring progress on. But basically, nobody is monitoring sets and reps on an ongoing basis. Nobody is looking at trend lines of, okay, here's the weight that my client did for the last 10 weeks or whatever it is. A lot of the time, people aren't even looking at weight. It's just irrelevant. Mm-hmm. They just want their clients to make sure that they're still moving. Mm-hmm. And so yes, there's been, what we are taught as trainers, as we become trainers, I have found, is not what actually works in the real world a lot of the time. And as trainers get more experience, they do a lot less of what they are taught in school and in certification programs. That seems to be almost like test tube type learning, not real world application.
That makes sense. Very, very, very good, Jonathan. Great show. We can see by the squared off zeros on the Casio watch that it's time for us to end another exciting episode of the Online Trainer Show. Who doesn't like a 2 that looks like an S? Or maybe a Z? Who knows? It's Casio, and that's why we love it. Amber, we expect you to have the damn Casio on the next time we record next week. You've got 2 wrists, for God's sakes. Put the freaking Apple Watch on one wrist and put the Casio on the other. You're disrespecting Jonathan and his point and his generosity. Somebody else is going to get a bunny head on the show on their lawn. That's all I'm saying. Bunny heads for everybody. So show notes for this episode, if you're brave enough to come and see the show notes, can be found at onlinetrainer.com/podcast. Not to be outdone, lest ye forget, this entire production is sponsored by the Online Trainer Academy, onlinetrainer.com/OTA. It's your gateway to relief. I'm making stuff up here. Your gateway to relief, your gateway to success in the online space, your gateway to freedom in this universe, the Online Trainer Academy. Come in and sign up. We want to make you a space cadet like us. Keto, Amber, Jonathan, I thought to say it Weechi. It sounds ouchy. Thank you so much for being here. And Jonathan, would you like to do the last thing, Jonathan? Do you want to say the thing?
I'd really like Carolina to do it.
Carolina, take us out.
Jingle me timbers.
So little enthusiasm.
Oh man.
Not enough alcohol.
Can you describe enthusiasm with the word flaccid? Because that's what it was. It's a flaccid expression of the Amber's appalled. Jingle, because Carol, I gotta override yours. We can't allow you to do that. If that's what you're gonna bring to the table, just stay seated from here on out. Like nobody wants that. Jingle.
I called on the kid in the back of the room, and I
right. Obviously didn't do her homework. Like, what's the answer, Karen? Christopher Columbus. Carolina, this is a math class. The answer cannot be Columbus. This is algebra, Keto. Have you paid attention?
That is essentially my school experience all throughout life. That was it.
What room am I in?
This is the Online Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show.
We shouldn't have a podcast.